Hello everybody, Scotia here with a video today that I was honestly not expecting to make. Believe it or not, I was actually out and about for most of today trying to find the latest volume for the Part 5 JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga volume. I wasn't able to find it, but not long after I got home, I discovered that apparently Bandai Namco thought, you know what Scotia, we'll give you some JoJo news, we'll give you something to keep JoJo in your mind, because we finally got the reveal of the release date of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. If you don't remember, if you don't know, this is a remaster of the PS3 JoJo fighting game with new visuals, updated color palettes, new voice actors, and I did a video when that game got revealed because I was very excited by that reveal. I thought it was very interesting how they were basically revamping this game. So if you want to hear my thoughts about the game itself, go check that video out. But this is kind of going to go over the info we got today, the release date, as well as some other things, including some character reveals and some stuff about what's going to be coming to the game in terms of add-on content, both pre-order-wise and post-release. So we're going to get into that now. So starting with probably what is the most important info from all the info we got today is that the game is releasing September 2nd of this year. And I think that's a pretty good release date, to be honest. It's pretty much in line with what I think a lot of us were expecting. I think the current rumour actually is that September 1st is the rumoured release date of when the next batch of episodes for Stone Ocean Part 6 is coming out. So if that ends up being true, then that's, you know, it's a pretty good lineup for it. It will definitely be a very interesting time, very fun time. Hopefully by then we'll actually know some more info on Part 9 as well. That's just my hope. But other than that, we did get a lot of other info as well. We got some info on a demo or a beta that is coming up for the game. I don't think there's any actual real details on that, just that it's coming and we'll be able to play the game in some way before the actual release, which is very, very cool. What is probably the second biggest info drop, or the biggest, depending on how you feel about it, is that we got 4 characters revealed for the game. And what was very interesting about All-Star Battle R when they first announced it was that it was going to have all the characters that were in the original PS3 version of the game, which was about 50 characters, maybe a bit less, and that included the base roster of that game and the DLC characters. But what was evident was that there was also going to be other characters added on top, so we were getting around about 50, just over 50 characters, and that was very exciting. And for the most part, a lot of us assumed it was just going to be the characters that were in Eyes of Heaven, which was a different type of JoJo fighting game released on the PlayStation 4 a couple of years ago, and that was kind of the assumption. But I'll kind of get into the other stuff that kind of came out from that we know now that has been leaked in a minute. But the 4 characters that we got announced today are all from Eyes of Heaven, so nothing really shocking today. I think these are all, for the most part, pretty safe characters. I think most people were expecting these, or the majority of these characters, to make it. So the 4 characters we got revealed was Speedwagon, Mariah, Pet Shop, and Diego Brando. Now, I think the first and last of those 4 were very obvious. I think a lot of people knew that they were going to be added to this game. Speedwagon from Part 1 is an incredibly popular character across the world. I know he's very beloved in Japan, and I know a lot of people like him from Part 1 and Part 2. So he was kind of obvious. I'm not surprised at all with him making it. Same with Diego Brando. The other 2, though, they were obvious, I think, in the sense that like they were kind of, well, not obvious, but more inevitable. Mariah is a character. I don't hate Mariah. I think she's okay. I like her design, I guess, but she was never a character that really stood out to me. Pet Shop, I think, is fun. I think the novelty of Pet Shop being a giant hawk or eagle, I can never remember which one he is. I think he's a hawk. The novelty of, you know, fighting a vicious stand-wielding hawk, or just bird in general, I think is very fun. I've always heard the stories how in the Capcom PS1 era JoJo fighting game, Pet Shop was just so incredibly broken. I don't know actually if that was the case in Eyes of Heaven with Pet Shop, but yeah, I mean, Part 3 is weird for me. I like Part 3, I like all the JoJo parts. Part 3, though, I think a lot of the enemies, I think a lot of the villains in Part 3 were kind of meh. It's, you know, not overall, but I think some characters, compared to other parts, were a bit, you know, lackluster to me. So I'm not like terribly excited for Mariah and Pet Shop. I'm more excited for Pet Shop, to be honest, because like I said, it's a bird. Who doesn't want to play as a bird in a fighting game? I think that's very cool and funny. Mariah, I can give or take. I think she's fair. I can't really complain about it. I'll get into the other Part 3 character that they added in Eyes of Heaven in a minute. So those are the 4 characters that they announced today. Now, we know there are more coming because at the end of the... Actually, no, near the end, before they actually show off these characters, they kind of like... They have 4 of the Mystery Star empty spaces in the whole full roster image. They kind of like light up a bit, and then you see, and it kind of highlights like these, with these 4 characters we're going to be revealing. But you look at the rest of the image that is grayed out, as the focus is on these 4 spots, and I counted them, and there are 6 in total. So there are still 6 characters in the base game that are left to be revealed. Now, we know 2 of them have been leaked, and I've talked about this in the previous video. It got leaked very quickly after the game got announced a few months ago, and we know that 2 of those 6 is going to be Trish and Prosciutto, both from Part 5. And I talked about those characters and what they mean, especially Prosciutto, who was a character who was neither in All-Star Battle or Eyes of Heaven, and what that can mean in terms of getting characters that weren't in either game, made from scratch. So that's very exciting and all that. The other character, and I didn't talk about this when it happened because this came out a month or 2 ago, is there was a trailer on the PlayStation Store for the game, and at the end of it, for some reason, it had an image of Bao. And Bao is he's the main character of one of Araki's earlier works he did before JoJo, I think called Bao the Visitor. But it was a previous work Araki did before he did JoJo. And he was playable in All-Star Battle. I think he was DLC. And he was a pretty cool character, to be honest. I actually thought he was fun to play in that game. But there was a lot of concern that he wasn't going to be in All-Star Battle R, because when the game got announced, he just wasn't in it. And he was kind of the only character from All-Star Battle PS3 game that wasn't confirmed. But in this image that shows up at the end of this version of the trailer on the PlayStation Store, Bao is in it. So it seems like Bao might be in the game. I don't know if he's going to be an add-on or a bonus or DLC or whatever. I don't know if he's going to be included as one of these 6 characters. I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be very disappointing because we already know that Bao is in the game. He was in the PS3 version. So I think if he is part of the 6, I think that's a mistake on their part. The developers, I think they should just be upfront about that Bao's in the game. But I think it is very likely that Bao's in the game, unless they've changed their mind since then. But for whatever reason, they're hiding him. I don't know why. So for now, I guess I'll count him as part of the 6. So I think at the moment, we're kind of looking at about maybe 3 characters left that we don't actually know. And there's so many characters. I mean, JoJo's such a massive series and it has such a wide array of characters that could fill those, 3 or 4 spots. And from Eyes of Heaven, there are actually quite a few characters left that we don't know if they'll be in the game or not. And so the characters, I'm going to list them off now, are Stroheim, Nadul, Part 4 Jotaro, Yukiko Yamagishi, Weather Report, New Moon Pucci, Alternate Universe Diego Brando, and Joshu Higashikata. And that's quite a few characters left, and it's like, obviously a few of them are going to be missing out, basically. And that's not even factoring in the fact that we could be getting new characters. And I'm fairly convinced we're going to get at least one other new character that wasn't in All-Star Battle or Eyes of Heaven. Because I think it would be very weird if Prosciutto was the only character. And I mean, like I said in the other video, I love Prosciutto. He's probably one of my favourite side characters in Part 5. But I never saw him as that type of character to be the only new character added. Who knows though, maybe Prosciutto being in that thing was a mistake and he's not actually playable and, it's purely we're just getting Eyes of Heaven characters. We'll find out soon, I guess. But yeah, it's very interesting kind of where we're at the moment. We're kind of looking at 3 or 4 kind of mystery spots left now, and I am very excited to see who gets revealed between now and September. What I think is also interesting though is the extra DLC that they've also shown off for the game, and most of this is included in the Deluxe Edition, which includes a set of colours for Jonathan, Jotaro, Giorno, Joseph and Josuke, and these are kind of colours that I think are from the anime event where I think they revealed Stone Ocean. Was that last year? I think that was last year, wow. There was a colour palette, there was an artwork that had them with different colours, so I think that's what that colour palette is from, which I think is pretty cool. There's 2 costumes, one for Rohan and one for Avdol. The Rohan one, I believe, is from the arc where he's first introduced in Part 4, and the Avdol costume is from, I believe, the Judgment arc in Part 3. I think it's the Judgment arc, where they meet a character who looks like Avdol's father, but it turns out it's actually Avdol, blah, blah, blah. And then if you pre-order the game, you get the Jolene, what she wears basically at the start of Part 6 and the early half of Part 6, which I think is cool. I think that's a very cool costume. So all in all, pretty good info drop. I think, there's a lot of questions that have been answered. We now get more of an idea of who's being added. I think it's kind of obvious to see at this point, or to guess that A lot of the characters that we're going to be getting added extra are probably going to be from Eyes of Heaven. Like I said, I expect probably at least one more character like that's brand new, like Prosciutto, if Prosciutto is indeed a new character that is playable in this game. I also just forgot, I just realized I didn't mention, probably the most interesting thing of all for me is that there's going to be a season pass, and there's going to be 4 new characters that are going to be added post release of the game. I think that's very interesting, and I'm really glad they're actually doing a season pass, because like I said earlier, JoJo has such a wide cast of characters. Like, there's so many characters. I listed off a ton of characters in the previous video I did that I could have easily like I would drop, like, in a heartbeat. I would like take out other characters, you know, and put them in, like characters like Foo Fighters and Hot Pants and so many others. I literally couldn't name them all. So I hope, you know, it's of those 4 characters, maybe an even mix, maybe 2 from Eyes of Heaven, 2 new. But like I said, we'll have to see. This is kind of just a very brief kind of just here's what's new. Like I said, I was not at all prepared for any of this today. When I came home, I kind of looked at my phone and I was like, oh, there's a new trailer for the game. Oh, okay. Oh, they're actually revealing characters in DLC. Oh, that's crazy. So yeah, very, very cool news. I am still very excited for this game. I'm going to definitely be getting it day 1 when it comes out. I love JoJo a lot, as you probably know by now, so this is something I'm very interested in. I'm going to keep covering the game. I'm going to keep covering character reveals as we get them, especially with DLC. Yeah, so that's basically it for today. Just really quick video. Just wanted to get this out here. Sorry if it's rambling. It really caught me off guard, like I said. So yeah, that's it for today. I'm going to go before I go on and ramble even more and more. So thank you for watching. I shall see you again later. Bye-bye.
We await your return, warrior.